So, book clubs are a ton of fun because we get to read all sorts of books, especially depending on the book club you join. But I love to read books outside of book club because there are some books that you're just not going to read during a book club because they're way too long. Or it just may not drum up enough interest to have people join. So, have you started any books this year that are outside a book club or have recently finished any books that have been really good that you've been doing on your own?
Yeah, probably too many books to think of between what I recently finished, what I've started, what I've been like in the middle of. But one book that has really been interesting to me that I started, the beginning of this year because January and everything, starts new, right? Magically on the first. I started
Definitely.
Atomic Habits.
Ooh.
And I'm only a couple chapters in really, but I'm just trying to take chunk at a time. I'm trying to like go slow. And there's some books that you can just, read really fast or listen to, in a couple days. And then there's some books you want to go slow and take your time in.
You
And then
really
some
want to
other
absorb
books.
the content.
Yes, you want to
Yes.
be able to absorb it because then what's the point of reading it if
Right.
it's just going to go, in one ear, out the
Yes.
other, or one thought and then it's gone. And then
Yes.
some other books, since I'm, homeschooling mom, that I've been slowly going through because these are some thick books.
Oh, is
It
that the
is
yes.
educating the wholehearted child. It is like
Yep.
this one's massive.
Still slowly
Um,
going through that one too. That was so good, but
it is
I've
really
read
good, but
so
it's
far.
so much information.
It really
So
is.
much. Another one that has it's a lot of information too is Charlotte Mason Companion.
Oh, that's
This one's really
right.
good.
How many
Yeah,
pages
this one's
is
a
that?
little
That
bit
one's
smaller, but still, still a lot. And
yes.
between reading the two,
Yes.
I've been taking my time. Um, so those are some that I'm like currently going through like slowly. But there's other books that I read like super fast. So what about you, Jessica?
Yeah, so I just started, I don't know, maybe, I think it was this year too, because I got it for Christmas, Jesus and the Law of Moses. And this is I guess you would consider it an academic read. So there's big words in here. I'm not through the introduction. I'm taking it slow because one, it's a lot of content, but two, I'm not used to reading big words. That I have to look up the dictionary and be like, what the heck does this mean? So it's a slow process going through it, but it, the very little that I've gone through so far has really caused me to think very deeply about certain biblical passages he's already brought up. And so, just like your Atomic Habits, I am taking it just a little bit at a time because I really want to stew and sit on what exactly is the author trying to tell me. And then, how does that apply to what I'm reading in the Bible and all that stuff?
Mhm.
But that's really good to take your time through a book. And like, this is one you can't do with a book club because I don't it's taken me like 3 weeks to get through part of the introduction. Like there's no way I'm gonna make people in a book club spend 3 weeks going through an introduction. Um,
Yeah.
but another one that I want to start after I get through this one is Handbook on the New Wait, hold on. Handbook on the New Testament Use of the Old Testament. So it's another, I guess you'd consider an academic read. But they came highly recommended to kind of understand how the Old Testament is really being used in the New Testament. And I want to grow deeper in my knowledge of the Bible and of the Lord and everything. So I'm using those as my um, extracurricular books this year. But I did do a lot of fiction books last year through audiobooks between book clubs or during book clubs because I was running a lot of nonfiction book clubs last year. So I
Oh,
wanted to get some fiction books under my belt, and I had a very long to be read list. So I got to knock out some of the classics like Northanger Abbey by Jane. I read a lot of Jane Austen last year because I like her books and I just haven't had a chance to read a lot of them. So I picked up a few that I haven't, like Northanger Abbey was really good. And then I dived into some Agatha Christie because I love me some murder mystery. And Agatha Christie's been a lot of fun. And I will say, her writing style is very different than how we write today. And I can't help but laugh at some of the words that she uses because back then, the words that they used was very common for them And it's not common for us now at all. And it's actually used in a completely different context now. So it cracks me up to no end every time I read one of her, or I don't read, I listen to them. But every time the narrator says certain words, I laugh so hard, but they're so good to just like dive into how other authors used to write way back when, how poetic that their writing could be, even for fiction books, and how much imagery they can put into it. Oh, it's beautiful. So yeah, I've read a lot of fiction and some nonfiction books, especially over the holiday break. I was able to, like you said, bust through some of my nonfiction books. I was like, they were so good, I couldn't put them down. I had like one of them and I brought it because, I had to. And it's a thick book. I don't know how I got through it so fast, but it was The Unseen Realm by Michael Heiser. Very good. Took me not that long to get through it.
Let's
Even
see
though
how thick is it?
it is, it's thick. But and
Yeah.
he's got a lot of footnotes like in the bottom of like the research that he did.
Wow. Yeah.
And
That's a
so
lot.
it is. And so I would stop and be like, "Oh, let me go look that up. Oh, let me go look that up." And even with that, like the content was just so engrossing. I just couldn't put it down. So I felt
Yeah.
like I've spent the last like 7 minutes talking straight. So I think it's your turn.
Well, you
What-
mentioned classics, and I'm
Yes.
trying to read more classics myself. Last year, the end of last year, I finished Jane Eyre, and I felt that was
Oh,
a pretty long book for
it
me,
is.
and I really enjoyed it. What I noticed right now, I'm trying to go through Oliver Twist, and what I've noticed is that there will be portions where I'm like really interested, and then there's portions where I'm like, oh, it's getting a little boring, and then it'll be interesting. And so I'm like slowly going through these books because, again, yeah, they're older, so the speech is different, and so I think my brain doesn't process it as fast as modern books,
Yeah.
and so I'm taking my time going through Oliver Twist right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to kind of read all types of genres and kind of dip your toes in different types, and especially the classics.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed that we did Mansfield Park, I think, in my classical literature book club last year. And that's one thing that was commented on was how slow the book starts. And I realized that with Jane Austen, like she really sets up the characters and the setting and all of this. And it for I guess in our today's day and age, we're used to hitting the ground running as soon as you turn to page one. They gotta hook you so that you'll finish the book, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't do that back then. It was definitely much more slow and really going into the depthness of the characters, of the setting and whatnot. And I really appreciate that because it gives you a whole different perspective on what all is going on in that world that they're creating. But yeah, some of the ones
Yeah.
I tried reading, or I'm still going to finish it, but I'm trying reading C.S. Lewis's. He did a science fiction type book,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very different than other science fiction books I have read in the past. So, yeah, it's definitely fun to wrap your head around how other people are writing, and
Would it be a good book club book?
maybe.
Maybe.
I think
We're
I
gonna have to
need to.
talk more about that.
Yeah, because I've only been listening to it, and I wonder if maybe this is one of those books I need to actually sit, because there's probably a message behind what he's
Mm-hmm.
writing about. And so I think what I need to do is take my time and actually go through it and, read it physically and not just listen to it.
Yeah. Well, I run a fantasy and science fiction book club, so I'm always taking recommendations. So when you mentioned that, I was like, ooh,
Ooh.
started
Yeah,
thinking
let
maybe.
me re-listen to it. And like so far it's really good. It's a different type of book and it's a different pace than what I'm used to with other science
Mm-hmm.
fiction books. But the science fiction books I had read were also a little more on the modern side too. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, reading
Yeah.
outside of book clubs is something that, we love to do because we love books.
It's kind of why one of the reasons why we have Wells Wisdom, why we started it.
Yes.
We just love reading.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
yeah, so hopefully we can throw in some more books this year to get under our to be read belt. Maybe we can, in a couple months follow up again and be like, "Hey, how far have you gotten in any of the books that we started in January?"
yes.
And keep everybody up to date on how it's going. And we can go from there and see what happens.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, we will see you all in book club later.